guys, it's me, Miss Charizard, and it is time for the Week 9 draft recap. We are doing this live as always. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than let's jump in. Okay, so the first match that we will talk about is Jazz versus Primersu. Jazz is the Rock and Rillabooms, and Pry is the Black Grimoire Gengars. I always have a hard time remembering Pry's new team name. But yeah, let's check it out. So both of these teams have struggled a bit this year, so I thought it was going to be super interesting to see how this match plays out. Right off the bat, Pry makes a really good switch, swaps into the knockoff, gets the justified boost. Yeah, they lose their item, but now they're free to just kind of click buttons. Hold on, what item did... Oh, it was a life orb. But they got the justified boost, which kind of makes up for the life orb, right? Because instead of losing health and doing extra damage, you're just doing extra damage because you got the justified boost. So we see Poison Jab for good coverage, although I'm not sure that would have done more damage than if they would have just clicked like a stab move. Either way, Poison Jab does pretty good damage, but it made it predictable. Jazz was able to switch in on the next Poison attack, which was a great swap in for Celesteela. And Pry sees, like, clicks a button to see how much damage they can do, 29%. And you would think at this point, okay, I've clicked what is probably going to be my strongest move against this Pokemon. It didn't do anything. I should probably swap out, right? Right? No, Pry keeps clicking buttons and just lets this thing slowly wear down and kill the Cobalion. Not sure I agree with that decision. I think Pry needs to save Cobalion here because Cobalion is a strong Pokemon and can deal with a couple different threats on this team. But he just kind of gives Cobalion up for free, which I don't really agree with. Next, we see the Mawile come out. Reveals Fire Fang, which does huge damage against the monkey. Makes you think maybe this is Choice Band. Either way, Mawile takes down Rillaboom, which is kind of crazy. And now we see Charizard, which is terrifying. Mawile wants nothing to do with that. Pry swaps into Lando, thinking surely Lando can live one attack. Wrong. Mega Charizard Y just completely melts that thing. Now threatens... Okay. This play I don't understand even a little bit. There are... Pry, please, Pry, tell me that you watch these. Okay, so in this scenario right here, you have a Pokemon that hits really hard. And you have Rock Stab, which covers everything on this team. Nothing resists Rock Stab. Nothing that is left on this team resists Rock Stab. You always in this situation, click Rock Stab move. It's going to hurt whatever comes out. Instead, you click Aqua Tail as a coverage move in Sun, which does half damage. Like this, Aqua Tail was the worst thing you could have clicked in this situation. It does nothing. It does 10% for Wall of Fiasco. It does absolutely nothing. The Pry immediately has to swap out. This play I also don't understand. Pry, you are in Sun. We know you have Choice Band Fire Fang. We know fire moves are super effective against Celesteela. The only thing I could think is maybe they're clicking for a swap here. They could have clicked the fire boosted. They could have clicked the fire boosted move. Instead, they clicked Brick Break, which... Why? Why Brick Break? I don't understand what we're going for. The only thing you've revealed at this point is fire move. It's in Sun. You should always be clicking the fire move when you're in Sun, especially when it's against Celesteela, which is super weak to it. And if you're gonna click a coverage move, click one that covers for the resisted potential fire swap, right? So you want to click something that's effective against Blaziken or Charizard, but Charizard resists Brick Break, so Brick Break just didn't make any sense at all. It almost made as little sense as Aqua Tail. Fire Fang is always the play here. Always the play. But instead, we don't see it, and we just see it take some chip, and then he gives up Archops for free. Heavy Slam. I don't know. Just a series of plays that I don't really understand. And at this point, so much damage has been done to Pry's team that she just doesn't have enough firepower to, like, come back and win this. Charizard's gonna come in, easy kill. Mimikyu's gonna deal with this Mega Banette without any trouble at all, thanks to its disguise. Like, boom, one Shadow Claw, gone. And then Blaziken's gonna clean up the Mawile. So, like, there's the match. It could have been a lot closer, but probably had about 3 turns back to back to back with extremely questionable decisions. I really hope you watch these. Because you have some threatening Pokemon. Actually, she did make some changes recently, so her roster's a little different than what we just saw. And we actually have seen their Week 10 match, which, I don't know, maybe they learned. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but they, other than saying they performed a lot better than this week than they did last week. So, there's that. The next game we'll talk about is Sgt Mech. It's a new Bark Normalizers against British Gent, Belper Bewares. So for this one was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. Right off the bat, we see Mew revealing it is running a special set, gets the special defense drop against the Lantern, which I'm not sure it made a difference since they clicked substitute, you know? Gent smartly using Volt Switch to keep that momentum, goes into Cursola. Alright, what's this Cursola running? Mew's not going to stick around to find out, immediately goes into Kecleon, who gets Whirlpool trapped. Okay, so this thing gets, what, Weak Armor and Perish Body? This has got to be a Perish Body set, right? Yes, that's exactly what it is. Perish Body set, I love this set. This is such a cool set to me. I think the only thing that could have made this set better for British Gent is if instead of, I think what they ran on this was Leftovers. Instead of Leftovers, you run Grip Claw. That way Whirlpool lasts longer. That way Pokemon, like, because right here, because Whirlpool's gone, Kecleon's able to swap out. If you have a Grip Claw on there, it's guaranteed that Kecleon's not going to be able to swap out, and you get a free kill there. So, like, that's the only change I would have made to that set. Otherwise, a really cool set. Perish Body Trap is not something that you see very often, so I just thought it was pretty cool. But unfortunate for British Gent, who wants to run this Perish Body set, there are 3 Pokemon on Sgt Mech's team. Also, hold up. Let's talk about this. I want to talk about this read. There are 3 Pokemon on this team that can, you know, momentum move out of the Whirlpool, which kind of sucks. And one of them's completely immune to the water move, and Heliolisk, who gets Dry Skin. So it's just not a great team to utilize that against. Although I can see using it as a good way to catch, maybe like, well, Braviary gets U-turn, so you could use it against like Kangaskhan, maybe. I mean, it is probably best used against Kangaskhan, right? Because Kangaskhan, what's Kangaskhan going to do to Cursola? Not much. And anyways, so here we see him U-turn out into Heliolisk against the Pelipper, right? That makes sense. He wants momentum. Heliolisk is an obvious good choice here. So, I like what we see here from Sgt Mech. We see here 4 times weak to Electric. Super tempting to click the Electric move, but there are 2 Pokemon on this team that don't care about that. One that gets Volt Absorb and just heals, and one that is just completely immune. So what's Sgt Mech do? He goes, they're probably going to expect me to click an Electric move here. I should click my Grass Coverage move to hit one of the potential swap-ins super effective. And that's exactly what happens. We see Lantern here, Grass Knot, the 2-hit KO. So that read really, really pays off. Heliolisk's first game on Sgt Mech's team, picking up a kill, and almost immediately showing off that this Pokemon's worth it. This play is also interesting. Let's talk about this play. So you have Seismitoad versus Heliolisk here. Seismitoad in rain always outspeeds, even if this is Choice Scarfed. So what's the play here for British Gent, right? British Gent's thinking, well, this thing's weak to ground. The obvious play is the quick ground move. I'm faster. I'm gonna hit it hard. It's gonna die. He's gonna know that though. That's too obvious. I can't click Earthquake because he'll just go into Staraptor. So what do I click instead? Well, a coverage move, right? Meanwhile, Sgt Mech's over here thinking, he doesn't know I have a Focus Sash on this thing. I don't care if he clicks ground move. I'm going to click the Grass Knot, which always kills this Pokemon. And he clicks coverage move, Sunny Boy eats it, Grass Knot kills. So really, really good back-to-back plays there for Sgt Mech, making some excellent reads in team building to make sure he's set up in a situation to deal with dangerous Pokemon. Getting rid of Seismitoad, who has been an absolute menace this entire season, that early in the match was huge. That was all the momentum in Sgt Mech's favor, like immediately. This time he can click Volt Switch because both of the Pokemon that are immune to Electric are gone. Picks up a third kill for Heliolisk. Heliolisk had 3 kills in his first match for Sgt Mech. That's crazy good value. Whirlpool, Cinderace doesn't like Whirlpool. I mean, that's a decent amount of chip, but it can just U-turn out, so it doesn't matter. Perish Body doesn't mean anything here. So he goes into the Lizard, who he can't click Whirlpool against. He can't click Whirlpool against this, and he knows that, so he swaps out hard into Braviary, thinking Braviary should one-shot kill this thing. And it doesn't. This thing lives on 6%, uses Strength Sap, gets all of its health back. Strength Sap, one of the most absolutely busted moves in the game. Swear to God. So busted. But he has to swap out, and then we see Special Cinderace. Special Cinderace, which kills because he's not running Sturdy, because he's running a different set. And he showed me, British Giant showed me the set he was running on this thing. This set's fucking crazy. This set was absolutely crazy. And had Sgt Mech not brought Special Cinderace this week, he would have been able to use this set. And he would have been able to sweep and win against Sgt Mech. But because Sgt Mech had the foresight to bring Special Cinderace, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Special Cinderace just deletes Skarmory. Also, welcome in, Goldoa. Ban Strength Sap. I don't disagree. But yeah, so that play was pretty crazy. We see a hard swap into Staraptor to get the -1. So U-turn does like nothing. And we already know how this plays out, right? This thing can't kill this. It just can't. There's not enough either offensive investment here, or there's too much defensive investment over there, or maybe it's just a combination of the two. Either way, this thing cannot kill. So Sgt Mech goes into Heliolisk, who hard walls the Perish Trap. And then doubles into Kangaskhan, which I don't necessarily know how I feel about, but what it did here is it made British Gent afraid to swap into Urshifu here and forces him to let the Cursola die. So I guess it was actually kind of big brain. He gets the Intimidate swap there, which it's locked in a Wicked Blow. We're assuming it's locked in, and it doesn't care about the Intimidate drop. And then we see Sgt Mech do something interesting. He goes into Mew and gets outsped and dies. So he basically feeds Mew for free. I could see going into Mew if it's Choice Scarfed to outspeed Max Speed Urshifu. So one of two things either happened. Either he thought maybe there was a chance he would outspeed base, but he must not have been max speed and didn't outspeed, or he had a choice scarf, or maybe this thing was choice scarf. We don't know what the item was on this. This very well could have been choice scarf. Actually, I think that's probably what happened here. He probably went into Mew and didn't realize the Urshifu was choice scarfed and got outsped. So I guess that makes sense when you think about it, huh? But at this point, Kangaskhan is just too physically thick. Just absolutely eats the Wicked Blow like it's nothing, and then finishes it off with a couple seismic tosses. So, really, really good showing for Sgt Mech, who's been looking really strong lately. Like, really strong. With this win, he actually jumps up to first place in his... We'll talk about standing. The next match was myself against Ocan. I was terrified about this match. It was essentially win and jump into the playoffs, lose, and your playoff hopes are pretty much shot at this point. And I felt the pressure, and we prepped really hard, and we'll see how it pays off right here. So right off the bat, I brought Shuckle specifically to bait either a Greninja or a Tapu Fini lead. So Ocan plays right into my hands here. And I'm expecting him to be running setup Tapu Fini, which means Encore is always free here, and that's exactly what they do. They bring setup Tapu Fini. I Encore lock them in because Encore's a sound-based move, doesn't care about substitute, ignores the substitute. That gives me a free switch into Ampharos, who I had substitute agility specifically to set up against this Pyukumuku. I knew if I could get a chance to set up with Ampharos, if I could get Ampharos clean out against Pyukumuku without taking a Toxic, I could sub Agility and win. Now, I wasn't able to quite win, but I was able to punch a hole. Anytime you're able to take out your opponent's S tier, like, immediately, like, you have to feel pretty good about that. This thing just does so much damage. I switched to Thunder like 5 minutes before my match. I swear to God, I was like, Thunderbolt, Thunder. I was agonizing over the two. I was like, Thunderbolt doesn't miss, but Thunder doesn't miss in rain. But what if I don't have rain? I don't want Thunder not to miss. And I was really agonizing over it. I decided last second, you know what? Let's just go for the damage. Let's take Thunder. And I'm glad that we did, because without Thunderbolt, this Clefable just sets up on us. And maybe we lose the Clefable. We don't know. You know, you don't know how that match plays out. Either way, it doesn't play out like this, and Clefable's gone real fast. And even Thunder does a ton to this thing, although that was a crit. This is clearly Assault Vest, which means I gotta swap out, which we Volt Switch out. We go into Eject Button Politoed, who keeps the momentum going, gets the rain back up, allows me to go into Soma for free, who's gonna flip turn and continue the momentum, take out the Muck, and then get me clean back into Politoed. Who gives me a chance to scout, you know, see what's coming out against me. I'm expecting Nasty Plot here, and they don't. So I come in, take the resisted Air Slash, find out their Sash tier, do a shit ton of damage. Honestly, let's be real. Kabutops, the momentum in this game was clean, right? It was all about the momentum. Also, look at that damage. This is a C tier Pokemon, and it just 2-hit KO'd Pyukumuku. Get the fuck out of here. That thing is a monster. Like, it already picked up 2 real quick kills. Their first week on my team picks up 2 real quick kills. Kabutops is slept on. It really is. And I have to actually give credit to Goldoa, because Goldoa previously had mentioned Kabutops as a potential member for my Rain team, and I was like, I don't want that right now. I don't think I need that right now. And then recently I picked it up because I thought, you know what, this probably will work really good for my remaining matchups, and it really showed its value in this one. Here we missed 3 Hurricanes in a row, but something important happens here. After missing back-to-back Hurricanes, we set up a Tailwind. So at this point I'm thinking, shit. We need to break this sub. That's why I clicked Hurricane, because I don't want this thing to set up with a sub in my face. So I need to get rid of this substitute as quickly as possible. And I missed back-to-back Hurricanes, so I'm like, shit, I can't kill this thing now. They're +2. With the investment I had on Hurricane here, I can't kill this thing if this is max special defense Tapu Fini. So I decide this is where we need to click Tailwind. Because if I'm not going to break this sub, I need to be able to go into Ampharos, outspeed, after this thing dies, and kill with Volt Switch, and kill the sub with Volt Switch. So we take big damage from stored power. We go ahead, set up our, we already set up our Tailwind. We miss a 3rd straight Hurricane, and then die. Welcome in, Zigzagoon Squad. Yeah, this is, these are our Draft League teams. It's part of our Draft League. And we're doing the recap right now, but welcome in. So I do get to go into Ampharos. I Volt Switch, I do the damage, I break the sub, I get out, and then I get my Rain back up. So basically, we sack the Toad. But at this point, like, they only have 3 Pokemon left. Like, Kabutops and Rain looks pretty unstoppable right now. But Ampharos and Tailwind also looks pretty fucking unstoppable right now. So I go right into Ampharos, and click Thunder, because I'm doing damage calcs. There's like a 90% chance this kills. It's not an absolute min roll, but there are about 3 rolls that don't kill, and we found them. We don't kill here. This thing finishes us off with Draining Kiss, but at this point, like, we did enough damage to put them in range for Stone Edge, because Stone Edge didn't kill from that range before. Stone Edge did not kill from that range before, so we were like, it was like a roll, but it had to be an absolute high roll. We got like an extra 2% off of the Tapu Fini, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that extra 2% made it a 50-50, like a coin flip as far as a roll, and this time we do get the roll. So we get the kill, and We miss a Stone Edge here, which would have killed, and then we would have outsped and been able to kill the, Tornadus. So we were one Stone Edge miss away from getting, like, a 5-kill introductory week for our Kabutops, which would have been pretty wild. But at this point, we know this thing is Choice Scarfed. We just go ahead and knock it off, sack the Shuckle, and go clean back into Dragapult and win. Yeah, 3 Hurricane misses is rough, but in defense of RNG, I did hit 4 straight Stone Edges before that. Anker Ninja, knock it off. Before that, we did hit 4 straight Stone Edges. So like missing a couple of those Hurricanes made sense, but missing 3 straight still kind of felt like a stretch. And then we missed our next Stone Edge. So like of 5 Stone Edges and 3 Hurricanes, 4 of those were misses. So we went 4 for 4, or we went 4 for 8, which is 50%, which doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. So I still had bad RNG, but it's okay. We put ourselves in a position to win even with bad RNG. That is what you have to do. You have to always put yourself in a position where even if you have really bad RNG, you can still find a win con, and that's what we did. It got scary. It was a lot closer than it should have been, but we managed to hold on and win. Scarf Greninja was always going to be a problem for my team. Well, my opponent yesterday hit 3 Hydro Pumps, so it averages out somewhere in the universe. It averages out always. Okay, this match, Pearly versus Minor Manectric. Pearly is #1 in the division, or #1 in the league right now statistically, and coming off of a loss to the Newbark Normalizers. Surely they're looking to like avenge their loss last week, so they come out without Dracovish. We don't see Dracovish. We haven't seen Pearly without Dracovish yet. How is this gonna go? Surely Pearly can't win without Dracovish. Find out. Arrived at bat, Pearly leads Alolan Ninetales against Mega Steelix, gets the Aurora Veil up, and basically gives up Ninetales for free. Welcome in, Pry. Welcome in. But yeah, basically gives up Alolan Ninetales for free. They must really value this Aurora Veil if they're willing to give this thing up for free on turn 1. What do they have in store? Well, they go into Landorus, and we see them start setting up. Oh, makes a little more sense now. But this is physical Lando Incarnate, which is interesting. You don't see that a lot. Usually, they're special. They set up speed and attack. Here's crazy. We see a Shuckle Berry into a Pasho Berry. That was fucking crazy, but the burn made a difference here. If not for that burn, but Steam Eruption has a boosted burn chance, so like it makes sense that the burn happened. But the burn makes a difference here because now that +2 doesn't mean anything. Early setup for basically nothing. The Aurora Veil more or less got somewhat wasted. They go immediately into Incineroar, already down 2 Pokemon, but Flame Charges for the speed boost. Also, Flame Charge is one of those few moves that thaws you out if you get frozen. If they didn't get burned, Scizor didn't live the switch in, so oof. Yep, I mean, that's fair. That's entirely true. But the burn mattered, and Pearly was forced to play through the burn. And we see Swords Dance, Flame Charge, Incineroar just set up in the face of this Glaceon. And now this thing's all charged up. It's fast, it's powerful, it's gonna do some damage. It one-shots Mega Steelix, one of the most physically bulky Pokemon in the game. Finishes off the Scizor after eating a Bullet Punch with an Earthquake, and does a ton of damage to this Necrozma. This is fully physically invested Necrozma, we find out later. That's full HP, full defense investment, and it does so much damage. But at this point, Incineroar's punched such a huge hole in this team. All Pearly needs to do is just use Regieleki to clean up, and that's essentially what we see here. After this Wobbuffet misplay, they didn't understand the way I guess it really wasn't so much a misplay because they went for the Destiny Bond strats, but like they died to burn, and when you die to burn, Destiny Bond doesn't work. My nose is still stuffy as hell. I hate children. At least it ain't COVID and just normal cold. True. We're gonna go ahead and speed up through this. Oh, we'll watch this. They Destiny Bond here. They body press, but low roll. They do low roll on the body press, which it could have been bad. But they get lucky, low roll, and then Encore finishes it off. But at this point, like I said, hole's been punched, and Regieleki can just clean up from here. Red Jalecki living a power gem from a Neoligo is kind of crazy to me. Alright, next match. Spega versus Kerfungal. Kerfungal, the Sandoval Salazzles, and Spega is the coach of the Lucknow Latte Guzzlers. This match was kind of a big deal. These are two teams that are, like, Spega is just, as of this game, was the new division leader and, like, starting to look really strong. And the Sandoval Salazzles are kind of at a point where they either need to win a couple more and solidify themselves as a playoff threat, or they just lose out and just, like, miss the playoffs. So this was kind of like they both needed this win. They both needed this win to solidify themselves as a playoff threat. So see how it plays out. Right off the bat, we see a taunt. Really smart play. You know that Pearly wants to come in and set up hazards. So really good start. The U-turn out for momentum to get their matchup, and then Spega matches with its own U-turn. And now we see this thing come right back out. Leftovers immediately get knocked off. We see rapid spin for a little bit of chip, but they were trying to spin away rocks. But Dunfin was fast, so it didn't matter. And then they earthquake, which is weird when they wanted to, like, they rapid spinned when they should have earthquaked, and earthquaked when they should have rapid spun. It was just interesting. But yeah, seeing Dunfin was super cool. First time we've seen it. Dami losing her Assault Vest kind of sucks, but we do get to see the skill link do its work. Do huge damage to Dunfin, but at this point, Dunfin just finishes it off with Ice Shard, which a lot of people always seem to forget. Dunfin carries Ice Shard, and then Dunfin dies to Toxic. But Vega gives up Assault Vest to Cannon for free, basically. Really probably didn't need to give it up at that point, but they did. You see a little swapping around. Ferrothorn revealing Iron Defense, and then Kerfungal leaves it out against Slowking, which, everyone knows gets Flamethrower. He even said in the chat in the game, "Oh, I knew he had that move. I don't know why I left him in, LOL." So, like, even he knew that mistake on his part. That hoodie is adorable. Thank you, I love this hoodie. It's a little Dragonite picking flowers. It's cute. Really enjoy it, but thank you. I got really excited. Primarina. Primarina has a huge week here, picking up one kill there. I think Prim was Kerf's best Pokemon this week. Machamp actually didn't look bad either. Eats that, and then just absolutely destroys this Durant after a knockoff. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. My apologies. First, there's a little more swapping around before we see the Machamp punch the ant to death. We see a Dragon Dance here. Oh, this tech was crazy. We see Foul Play Scrafty. After watching him Dragon Dance and set up his attack, Foul Play Scrafty is crazy. I love Foul Play Scrafty. That play was so crazy. I loved seeing it. But then we see a couple other things happen. Crobat going down the Thunderous stick. Of course it did. That makes sense. Dynamic Punch finishes off the... Doesn't finish off the Durant here, but on the next turn it does. Revealing what is likely a Choice Scarf Machamp. Just goes for the Dynamic Punch against the Slowking, which turns out to matter because the confusion allows Primarina to set up, because the Slowking is going to punch herself not once, but twice in the face. That kill actually counts for Machamp because it was the confusion from Dynamic Punch. But the +1 Speed F allows Prim to live a Thunderbolt from Thundurus and finish it off with Moonblast. So, like, that was Kerfungal's only win con, was getting the confusion from Dynamic Punch and Slowking punching himself in the face back-to-back turns. It is crazy to me that he found and recognized that win con, played it out, and it worked out for him. I mean, he had to get some really good RNG, but again, it worked out for him. Okay, and the last match of the week, LaCaveman, the Norfolk Kinglers, who quickly sliding out of reach of playoffs, so desperately needs a win here, against Godbear, who has just been pretty dominant for most of the season, and, like, doesn't need this win. Just being honest, Godbear doesn't need this win, but wants to win, right? Like, Godbear always wants to win. They're out to prove a point. So, here's this match. We see a Weezing versus Tauros lead. I mean, immediately we find out that Wheezing is Levitate. And we should have known this because neutralizing gas pops right at the beginning. You immediately find out that it's neutralizing gas. So clicking Earthquake there, a little bit of a misplay, but if you don't understand the way like the message prompts work, then I can understand making that misplay. Leaving Tauros in to get burnt and basically becoming useless against a Wheezing like just didn't make sense to me. Like looking at this team in general, what does LaCaveman have to deal with Wheezing? Nothing. Nothing on this team deals. It's physically bulky. It can basically eat everything this team has to offer, unless it's Mold Breaker Excadrill. Then Mold Breaker Excadrill can come in and kill with Earthquake, but instead he sets up and lets himself get burnt. Also lets Tyranitar get burnt, both putting him in like almost an impossible position to break this Wheezing. Honestly, like, I don't know. It like your play here was Mold Breaker. Your play here was Mold Breaker Excadrill, but he probably brought Sand Rush because it's a sand team. But I don't know, when you know there's Levitate Mon coming that is weak to ground, I feel like you always have to bring Mold Breaker, ground type. Here is the craziness. We see Cotton Guard. This Altaria is immediately unkillable against this team. We see another Cotton Guard. Now it's even more unkillable, despite the fact that it has Roost. And now we see Dragon Dance. So, like, it's GG's from here. Like, it's just GG's. Godbear just sweeps and wins. So, I'll speed it up a little bit. We see the Roosts, and this is when Godbear starts clicking Earthquake. About right here, I think. Oh, one more Dragon Dance. Now he starts clicking Earthquake. I was worried about Mold Breaker X. That was like the only thing that could stop that Wheezing from like burning everything and being just a complete nuisance to start the game. And he didn't bring it. So it just happened. And Mega Altaria just absolutely destroys and cleans everything. So really, really good showing from Godbear. I mean, that was a statement. That was a statement match. That was a statement match, if there ever was one. So great job from Godbear. Cloudburb Fear. Okay, so the next thing we'll talk about are the standings, and once again, we're only going to talk about the top 6. Just because I don't want to be here for 30 minutes talking about standings, because I easily could. So right now we have in first place Friendship Society, that's Pearly Whirly at 8-1 with a differential of 28. Right on their heels, we see the Chicago Phalanx at 7-2 with a 24 kill differential. Right on Pearly's heels with a super convincing win. So like this is gonna be close to see who's able to grab that #1 seed. If Godbear can not lose, like the only way these two don't lose their first round, or actually Pearly's guaranteed a first round bye. Pearly is guaranteed a first round bye, but Godbear needs to win out to guarantee their first round bye. Assuming one of the 5 and 4 teams. Actually, I'm sorry. Godbear only needs to win one more match. If Godbear only needs to win one more match to, yeah, I'm sorry. Only needs to win one more match to clinch a first round bye. Yeah, I did the maths wrong. So, wonder which 2 teams I've been helping most this season. Wow, Goldoa, way to be real modest there. Way to come in and take credit for these 2 teams' success. Anyways, needs 2 0-1 losses to clinch, right? I mean, Godbear just needs to win once. Godbear just needs to win once and needs one of the 5 and 4 teams not to win twice. Like, if Godbear loses both of his last matches, actually, even if I went so it'd have to be, I think the only person that could knock Godbear out of a first round bye is the Newbark Normalizers, and he would have to win both of his matches by huge differentials, and Godbear would have to lose both of his matches by huge differentials. So that's like the only way Godbear could lose his first round bye. But yeah, Newbark Normalizers in third at 5 and 4. They officially take first place in their division with an 8 kill differential. Lucknow Latte Guzzlers at 5 and 4 with a 2 kill differential. Myself finally jumping back up into the top 6 at 5 and 4. I still have a pretty bad differential at -2. And the Sandoval Salazzles rounding out the top 6 at 5-4 with a -4 differential. There are no more teams tied at 5-4. So nobody with a 5-4 record sitting out because of a differential. These are just the top 6 winning teams in the league. I mean, you're right, Goldoa, but like, even if let's say Godbear loses the next 2 matches, 0-6, he still has a 12 kill differential, and if I 6-0 my next 2 opponents, I only have a 10 kill differential. So it's impossible for me to catch Godbear. I guess Spega could catch, theoretically, if he has an 11 kill differential, and Godbear has a -12 kill differential for the remainder of the season. But that's the only way it could happen. Alright, this is usually Pearly's power rankings. Well, at least that's what we said. But Pearly had some stuff going on in their personal life, so they weren't able to do it this week, which is fine. So I took it upon myself because I wanted to still, I like the segment. I wanted to still do this segment. So I went ahead and updated the power rankings myself. I didn't do like the long written out explanations because I am going to tell you guys my explanations. I didn't think there's any reason for the top 4 to change. All 4 of them did what they were supposed to do this week. All 4 of these top 4 teams were supposed to win this week, and they did. They did what they were supposed to do. So they don't get a pat on the back for that. You're doing what you're supposed to do. I felt like the Sandoval Salazzles weren't getting enough love on Pearly's power rankings. And Sandoval Salazzles have won back-to-back matches against decent opponents. So, like, I thought they deserved to be much higher. I jumped them up 5 spots. Up to number 5, 1 spot ahead of Lucknow Latte Guzzlers, who they beat this week. So I feel like I don't even need to defend my rankings here for the Sandoval Salazzles. Lucknow Latte Guzzlers, I think, should be in the top 6, and the Sandoval Salazzles just beat the Lucknow Latte Guzzlers. So based off that logic, I feel like it's fair to put the Sandoval Salazzles up to number 5, 1 slot ahead of the Lucknow Latte Guzzlers, which is why they dropped down 1 slot. At number 7, the Rockin' Rillabooms jump up 4 spots, which is another pretty substantial jump. But they've just won back-to-back matches, so I feel like they've had a much better showing than the next 4. The Fairbanks Phalanx are on a 3-game losing streak. I don't think it makes sense to have them ranked higher than the Rockin' Rillabooms. The Dutch Devils are on a 3, now 4-game losing streak. They definitely don't deserve to be above the Rockin' Rillabooms. The Norfolk Kinglers are on a 2-game losing streak, so they dropped 1 slot. The big drop this week are the Belper Bewares, who have now lost 4 straight. I know British Gent's really good, and he comes up with some fun tech, but he has lost 4 straight, and unfortunately, I mean, I can't forgive that on the power rankings. So he drops down to 11, and rounding out the bottom are the Black Grimoire Gengars. So that is how we're looking as far as our power ranking go. And then finally, Pokemon of the Week. Chicago Phalanx, able to get their sole Pokemon of the Week. Congratulations, Godbear. Mega Altaria, who is no longer on the team. Godbear was like, thank you, Mega Altaria. I love you so much. You did so well, but now you gotta go. Here's the boot. And kicked them right out the door. Abusive. Cannot believe you treated this poor creature this way. After they took you to Pokemon of the Week, you immediately got rid of them. Unbelievable. But yeah, that's the weekly recap. Week 9 was crazy. Coming down the stretch, this league is kind of crazy. There's lots to keep an eye on. But really quick, going back to standings, match of the week, I didn't title one. The reason I didn't pick one single match of the week is because there are like 3 matches with like major implications, right? First of all, you have myself against the New Bark Normalizers. Let's talk about a couple of things about this match. He's my boyfriend, so it's gotta be a match of the week. I'm playing my boyfriend, but also we both are at 5-4 records. We both need a win to pretty much like clinch a playoff spot, and we I don't know. I guess I've kind of had this storyline going for like the last 3 or 4 weeks where my opponent has had the same record as me, and I've won every time. So I gotta see if I can keep that going against this week against another opponent who has the same record as me. Oh. He says no, but we'll see. The other match worth mentioning, there's the Sanibel Salazzles against Pokemon Friendship Society. Pearly doesn't care. Pearly has clinched a playoff spot at this point. Has essentially clinched not only clinched a playoff spot, but a first round bye. But the match is important because the Sanibel Salazzles still need a win to guarantee or to like solidify playoffs, and they have to do it against statistically the best team in the league. So that's going to be interesting to see. You two should do some practice battles together. Ho ho ho. We will not. And finally, the last match I wanted to mention were the Lucknow Latte Guzzlers against the Chicago Phalanx. That game is important because if the Lucknow Latte Guzzlers win, and they win by a large margin, they could potentially, statistically, knock Godbear out of a first round bye. At least threaten them to be knocked out of a first round bye if they can like win big against Godbear this week. So 3 matches with playoff implications. I think it was worth mentioning all 3 of them. Yeah, that's gonna do it. But thank y'all who hung out. I know once again these recaps have been a little longer than usual, but it's just the way we're doing them now, and I like it, and I'm gonna keep doing them that way. So yeah, thanks y'all for hanging out this long, and I don't know, do the things that people always say to do, you know, like the buttons, liking things, subscribing, all that stuff. Yeah, catch y'all next week.